All right, that motorcycle there, it's a 1971 R75/5. And the aim with that bike was to make it mechanically sound without making it look like a show bike or over polished, you know, make it look real, but just present it, show its age. Not really change the way the bike looks, except for cleaning it up, of course, and polishing it and all that, but leave the age on it, you know. So, but it needed everything, meaning the engine was torn down completely. Even the main crank bearings were replaced, the heads reworked, all of that's timing chain, sprockets, new ignition system on the front. We used a Dyna 3 on it. That is pretty much our go-to that Dyna ignition makes for that bike, for that particular ignition system. Takes the points out, puts the electronic Hall effect in there. Much more efficient for the spark trigger, the ignition system. From the engine, we rebuilt the chassis with, put progressive springs in the forks. We used the Icon rear shocks. That's our go-to on that as well. We like those. They're a mid-price product with adjustability, spring adjustment, damping adjustment. They look the part too. They have the throwback looks of the shocks from the 70s reproduction or the aftermarket stuff. Chassis was rebuilt, new bearings in the steering, of course, all new internal parts in the forks, bearings all around. The wheels we rebuilt with new spokes from Buchanan, stainless steel spokes, new bearings in the hubs. Along with that, with the final drive, something we see pretty good with, not all the time, but not uncommon to find. The drive splines on their final drive were worn, as such, need to be replaced. We did that in-house. We sourced out, there's a replacement part that we can get. We rebuilt the hub inside the final drive, replaced the bearings, all new seals, which is a pretty extensive. I don't think there's a lot of shops doing that. It's something that most shops probably send out to do. We do that in-house. The transmission was rebuilt with new bearings. The gears and the shafts looked in good shape. There was a repair we had to do that was pretty, I don't know, uncommon thing. I've done this repair several times, but the shaft that holds the kickstart lever on the 4-speed transmissions will will come out of the case. Basically, there's a pin that there's an interference fit inside the cover on the back, the lid that's what I call it, that had come out, and somebody had stuffed a bunch of like RTV silicone thinking that was going to hold it. I've seen that just about every time people do that. It's not a fix. So we had a new part. We had that bored out, oversized, barely, just enough to make it round again, and a new part was machined to replicate the shaft with just a little bit bigger size to fit the new hole that's in the lid, kind of like you would bore a hole in a cylinder for a piston. Just an oversized part to fit in there and be secure. So that was something on the transmission that we had to do. That it's just one of those things that there's really no getting around it. You know, you just have to do that kind of stuff if you want the bike to work right. New tires. We went with the Metzler Classic Tread tires on here. This one's got some parts on it that they're kind of upgrades, I suppose. They're from later era bikes. The front end is the forks are from a /6, which would be a 74 and later bike, 74 to 76. which gives you the disc brake, which is, I suppose, an improvement over the drum brake that the /5 came with. Electrically, you know, we had to all wiring harnesses on these. A lot of times these, you know, these bikes didn't come with fuses, and you find a lot of wires that are in bad shape and stuff. You know, they get hot, and they got a lot. You know, we actually replaced several wires within the harness on this, and you know, rebuilt the wiring harness, if you want to call it that, instead of replacing it. You know, just like to use as many original parts as we can if they're usable. So that's pretty much it, like a complete rebuild. Like every part on it was addressed, you know, every rubber part, every bearing, everything. Anything that was worn was replaced, and anything that was dirty was cleaned.